Webinar, we will continue with our financial planning under the enterprise planning and budgeting cloud services. So let's quickly get a recap of whatever we have done till now under the EPBCS financial planning module. So we have initially configured the application. Firstly, we have enabled the features of the financial planning. Okay, then after enable, we have done the configuration part completed. In that, we have uploaded the metadata, and we have set the each and everything under the configuration portion. Then after that, we move to load the data. We have used the direct data input method, and once the data has successfully loaded, we checked it under the financial module. And we understood how to construct the drivers and assumptions and how to use those with the application. We have set the user variables and user preferences. So let's go back to the application and see whether things are visible or not now. So I'm quickly moving to the financials. So basically we have completed the revenue planning. Now I'm moving towards the expense planning. So here, as you can see, let me maximize this. You can see the POV I used to upload the data, exactly same I used over here. And when I click on trend, it automatically shows my data, whatever I feed it in the application, in the calculated column. Okay, and from here, as I told you how to use trend assumptions, we have clearly understood what are the trends and assumptions in this particular application, which is a pre-built application we have. So basically these are my drivers which I used for calculating my expenses, and I have added, although this application is a pre-built application, so each and everything is automatically available, but we have created our own story. So that is why I have used my drivers. So let me show you that. So as you can see, these are my hospital drivers, maintenance expenses, doctor's salary, electricity expenses, surgical expenses, staff salary and medicinal expenses, and then maintenance expenses. So all these I have added here in the application. Go to the dimensions for check whether things are available or not which you have added. From here, select your cube and go to dimensions, accounts, and go to the expense planning. And you can see clearly I have added hospital drivers and hospital expenses, and I already shown you how you can create these drivers from configuration, and you can also add that from here also with the help of importing a metadata file if you already have that file. So you can see what expenses I want to calculate over here: medicinal expenses, surgical expenses, doctor salary expenses, staff salary expenses, then hospital bed expenses, electricity expenses. Although there are multiple expenses can be created under hospital, because healthcare is a very vast sector, but for making it simple, I have just added few expenses, 6-7 expenses, and you can see these driver I have added to calculate these expenses. So suppose I have to calculate the doctor's salary expenses. So here, as I have told you, we have many kind of specialists in our story, that is general practitioner, neurologist, orthopedics, gastroenterologist and pediatrician. And not every doctor is a surgeon, right? But every doctor and every specialist is having different kind of salary according to their job. So that is why I have created the drivers accordingly. So you can clearly see the number of hours of consultation we have. Like it's totally depend on the consultation hours. I have created two conditions, that is, if a doctor is consulting 1 hour only 1 hour to his patient, so the charge will be 500. But if he gives more than 1 hour, it can be 1.5 hour, 2 hours, or many or more. So in that case, the fees will automatically becomes 800, from 500 to 800, right? So number of hours of consultation multiplied by consultation fee per doctor multiplied by number of doctors. So you can see this. It can be calculated with the help of these drivers, and similarly I have created other drivers for calculating these expenses. So we'll be understanding this with the help of the financial planning module. So go to, sorry, not revenue, we are doing here the expenses. Revenue is already done. So as you can see, I have already selected those drivers on which we have to work for calculating the expenses, and from here you can always change the trend. So I'll be showing you how this taking the calculation. This is my data file. You can see the cost of bad expenses I have taken here from January to December. It is 500, okay, normally. So it is taking 550. Why? Because it is taking current year actual average. So when you click on this, you will automatically find the average, that is 500 cost per bed. But it is 500, but here I have used the increased percentage. Let me make it 0% or remove this so that I can show you well. So when you apply this trend, so it will automatically gives you the current year actual average, that is 500 in the calculated column. Okay, and suppose as a hospital I want to increase or decrease the percentages due to my trend wants that increase or decrease. So currently it is 500, which is absolutely correct. Okay, but when I added 10% increase, so it will take that value in the total column. So you can see 10% added to 500 becomes 550, and here I have added 200 adjustments. Let's make it 100 adjustment and see what happens. It becomes 650. Let's make it 0 and check again. So you can see 500 automatically fetched to the total column without adjustment. But if you want to do some kind of adjustments due to the inflation, so suppose from the 100, I want to increase my cost of total bed, okay, average cost. So when I add the 100 rupees and click on save, then you will see the result in the total column. I have not used any formula or any other rule. You can see automatically things are calculating for us 650. But where we can use the formula, these are the drivers. Okay, no. Now, if I have to calculate the expenses over here, so in that case we can apply a business rule for calculating these expenses which are required. Okay. So one by one, we will be try to calculate these expenses with the help of creating a business rule. Let me maximize this, and it will be more accurate for you to understand with the help of this. We can add any value with the adjustment. Suppose it is 6600 now, and I just want to decrease the consultation fee per doctor with 500. Okay, currently it is 6600. Let's see what happen if we do this. So from 6600 now it becomes 6100. Okay, click on save, and we will check it on the smart view. Let me connect it again. if you want to expand it and you want to see it on a monthly or quarterly basis, so click on year total, expand this, and you can see it gives the value in the quarterly format. Okay, and if you want to expand it further for checking the monthly expenses individually, so you can see monthly expenses also over here. Okay, but one thing, it is not showing the correct, like January, February, March, the total of this should be different. Maybe we have taken here the current year actual average. Let's not taking this for now. So you can see when I click on clear trend, the values will automatically invisible from here. Let me remove this also, and I am applying the current year actual. So I will show you the difference between the current year actual and current year actual average. Um, just wait. Yeah. So here it is automatically taking 550. Okay. So let me go back to my data file, and here you can see it is actually taking the last month value when we select current year actual. Okay. So maybe it is the current month actual. Let me check. Okay, current period actual means current month actual. So in that case, it is simply taking this value. But here, as we have increased this, that is why it is not showing the correct picture. Click on save. So it is 500. Let's check any other value. And here you can see clearly it is taking the Q1 exact value of all these 3 months. So things are automatically correct. We don't have to change anything. Sorry. Let me check any other value. For showing you the difference between the current year actual and current period actual. So alright, so number of patients using beds are totally different, you can see. And if we calculate the average of all this, so it is almost 12.5. Okay, so number of patients using beds, where it is, yeah. So you can see when we don't want to apply any trend and we want to check the value. So currently 150 it is taking number of patients using beds. Sum is 150. Okay. Why? Because here we have used the current year actual average trend, right? But when I change this to current period actual, so you will see what happened. So in this case, it is only taking 132 rather than 150. Why? Because in this case, it is not taking the average. It is considering this 11, and this 11 will be multiplied with 12 because it is 12 months. So the value becomes 132. So you can see it is absolutely correct. The current period actual value should be this. This is the monthly value, and when we will multiply this 11 with 12 months, so it becomes 132. Okay, so we can check this for any other member also. Okay, so let's check it for the rate per unit. Let me clear this trend and save this, because it is fetching this increase in the trend. So when we check the value of rate per unit, and let's check the average value, so it is sum is 4900. Okay, because it is currently current year actual average. It is taking the average of whole the months. Okay, current year actual average. Basically the term is year, but when we change it, current period actual, so what it will take? It will take the current period only, that is December. So in that case it should be 300 multiplied by 12, so 3600. Let's save this. You can see the value becomes 3600. So this is the way how we can select the trend according to our own requirement, and similarly we can choose some other kind of trends. Here if I want to take prior year actual average, so there should be the data of prior years. Let's take this and check what happened for the number of surgeries. Okay, so maybe there are not data for previous historical years, that is why it is not showing the actual average of prior year. Okay, and when we move again to the, and I already show you the clear trend. You can also use the forecast average. Again it is not showing the numbers, but when we will change this to current year actual average, so it will show us the value. Why it is not showing the data? Okay, maybe the data is not in this particular. Let's check it for any other driver. Let's do it for number of doctors. But with the help of this you can clearly understand what we are doing, how we can apply the trends for increase or decrease percentage. Okay, you can see the value shall visible over here, and when I want to adjust it with the 50 rupees, so 264 will add it to 50, and let's see what value it's showing to us. It will showing 314. Okay, so you can clearly see now. I will open my smart view. I will connecting my smart view to show you how you can understand it. So go to Excel, smart view panel, then connect it with your cube ad hoc analysis. Now quickly I'm selecting the things for which we want to see the changes. Let's not taking the whole things, try for only few. Cost per bed and number of patients. Okay, we will do it for few. Number of patients using bed and cost per bed, and I want to make it current year actual average. $500 is the cost per bed and 150 is the number of patients using bed. So we will be doing that for the patients. What cost the hospital incur for giving the bed facility to the patients, for admitting those patients who are having the emergencies. So from here we will select the expense, hospital bed expenses, and the drivers we will select from here. It should be cost per bed and the number of patients using beds. Okay, so we will doing it for only one expense now. My entity is operations US. drag it for the whole expense, and quickly write here the scenario. What is my scenario? Plan, version is working, plan element is load, I guess. Let me select it. You can see here we are having the calculated and adjustment when we load the data. So the total plan element will be load. Plan element will be considered as load, and the things when we calculated will be showing under here, total column calculated, and when we adjust with any value, any figure, so it will be showing in the adjustment column. Okay, similarly direct input we have, then integration we have, but here we are taking it as load. Okay, I think we should not take load here. We should take total here. Because the data is automatically loaded, now we are checking the figures whether it is correct or not. And the product we have added, that is antibiotics, services, I think we have added pharmacy. Let me check. Yeah, pharmacy here. And the market is US market. We have loaded the figures in the financial year 23, and we are doing planning for 24. So when we click on save, only then I think it is showing the figures in the financial year 24, because we have not loaded the figures to the financial year 24 because we are doing the planning, right? And here let's take January month. I think we have selected everything. Now click on the refresh button, and here you can see we found the cost per bed, that is 500, and number of patients using bed, that is 13. In January month it is only 13 numbers, so let's check whether it is correct or not. Where are my number of patients using bed? I can't see it. Let's maximize it. Okay, here it is. So it is 150 as a whole, and when we expand this, we will find the monthly figure. This is the quarterly figure, and let's furthermore expand this to checking monthly figures. So here you can see it is showing actually the rounding of figures. It is not 12.5, it is 13, but it is taking the figure as 12.5, rounding of the figure basically. I'll show you it in my data file. Basically the January month, it is 20, the financial year 23, right? But we have used here the trend of current year actual average, that is why it is taking the average. We can also check it out how it is calculating. It is 12.5, the average is 12.5. You can see the average is 12.5, that is why it is fetching the average, and when we connected it to the smart view, it is taking the rounding of value, right? And the cost per bed is 500, so it is clearly showing the 500 value. And let's again check that in the data file. So here my value is 500. Now the next thing, we want to calculate the hospital bed expenses, and that is calculated this multiply by this. Okay, so we will try to make a business rule for this for calculation purpose. So for that I am again moving to the application, and here we will try to create a rule. This is my cube, that is OEPFS financial cube, and here I will try to add a rule. Right click, name, give it a meaningful name, calculation of expenses for hospital bed. Okay, currently we are just calculating for only one expense. We can do this for the all the expenses. If we want to calculate all the expenses with one rule, so we can apply that rule directly from here. Okay, here we have to select the cube name and click on OK. And you can see this is the designer form. If you have used the member formula, then you can use this designer form, else you can use the edit script. So here we have to write fix. Why we are using fix? Because we are fixing the POVs on which we want to get a calculation done. Okay, so let's quickly check what should be our POVs. The calculation should be done on financial year. The data is for financial year 23, right? So let's take it, or let's do it for plan. So in that case, let me open my smart view again for checking the POVs, comma, it should be plan, or OEP plan we can write here. Okay, then total I have used as a plan element. Version is working, OEP working. Then the product is antibiotics. Pharmacy is my services. The spelling should not be different, it should be exactly same which you have used it, in the application, otherwise it will be showing the error. Market is US market. We can copy it directly from the application for not getting the chances of a spell error. And then I want to do it for the whole year, or let's do it for January only. Let's not make it the complicated one, because we are doing it for understanding things. We can use the I descendants of all the year total. In that case, it will take doing it for the all the years. Okay, now what else remains? I think things are completed. Okay, entity is operation US. I guess I have selected everything. Now here we have to write what we want to calculate. Cost of bed multiply by number of patients using bed. I know it is simply to calculate these things in these Excel or with the help of calculator or anything, but when we have a huge amount of data, huge amount of metadata we have to calculate for what, at that time it is very much recommended that if we use the application and we can create the business rule, so it will be beneficial. We'll be getting the accurate results, speedy results. So there it the use of this, and then I will close this with the help of end fix. Now let's try to validate this. You can see the rule validated with no errors and was saved. You can do these things similarly for calculating all the expenses. Once it is done, click on deploy. The deployment was successful, and now you have to click on launch. Cannot calculate as base error. Fix statement cannot contain dynamic calc member from dimension plan element. Okay. So let's take here load. It is saying that the fixed statement cannot be used for the member who is using the dynamic calc properties. That is why I have used here the store property member. Yeah, so now it is correct, and we have to change this there also. Let me write this rule over here, my presentation. Correct rule for calculating a expense. Calculating an expense. So that we can use further it, right? Now load we have taken here, and it is successfully launched. So go back here, and here we have to select the load option, otherwise maybe the rule is not running successfully. So here I am selecting load and refresh. Okay, basically the values are in the calculated column, so that is why it is not taking correctly. Again, click here the member selection, and we will take here calculated figures. Okay, and rest we are removing from here. So now the figures are available. We can change it also. Now there should we want the value. So here I will write the calculated one. Rule validated with no errors. Click on deploy. Deployment was successful. Now click on launch. Here we have to take the 0 level members, only then the rule will be validated. Rule is launched. Now for launching this rule over here, Smart View, go to the calculate option, business rules. Okay, let me save this. Which one is our rule? Yeah, here it is. So click on launch. Business rule completed successfully. Close it and refresh. Now you can see we found the value. So this is a way how you can calculate and check the values. Now if we want to check it whether the value is correct or not, so it is only one expense, therefore I will show you here directly. 500 multiply with 13, and you can see the value should be 6250 and it is absolutely correct. Okay, so in this way you can do it, and I will definitely create a data validation sheet in which on one sheet I will be written the input, and here I will write all the calculations, and here we will taking the variance of input and calculation, so you can clearly see the difference. But for now you can understand how we can create the business rule from here and how we can deploy and launch that, and the value is absolutely correct. You can do it for whole expenses as well. Let's do it right now. Here suppose I want to add further more expenses. I hope it is written here in my PPT. So now we have understood the driver assumptions and trends. Okay, driver based planning and trend based planning, clearly we have understood now. Okay, so suppose I want to calculate the expenses. Copy this and okay, so you can see doctor's salary expenses will be calculated as number of hours of calculation multiplied by consultation fee per doctor multiplied by number of doctors. Okay, similarly staff salary expenses, we have number of staff multiplied by salary per staff. Okay, so things are like that, and now we will try to launch this rule. I hope there should not be any kind of error, but let's check for a while. Let me save as with the another name, total expenses calc rule. Let's try to validate this. The rule validated with no errors. Click on launch. Here what I have used is I have simply took the drivers, those drivers only which can calculate my expenses exactly, and I have simply written over here with the help of this business rule. Great, so it is successfully launched with no errors. Now we will try to run it with the help of a smart view. So here in front of you I am again connecting, and quickly I am copying these things so that it should not be a time consuming thing, right? Here the value is financial year 24. Here it is January. The entity is Operation US, and here let's select all the expenses. No balance sheet. We want expense planning, hospital, drivers and expenses. So firstly I am taking this. Only those expenses will be calculated for what we are using the drivers on our business rule, right? Because there are multiple drivers we have. You can see the values are automatically showing over here. Now what is blank? The expenses, because we have to run our rule. Till then it is showing as hash missing. Okay, and here you can see the hospital expenses. It is fetching the figures which are already calculated. Okay, now let's try to run the rule. Total expenses calc rule. Rule run successfully. Click on refresh and we will be getting the figures. Okay, so medical expenses and surgical expenses are not included in our formula. That is why it is showing as a hash missing. Else doctor salary expenses, staff salary expenses, hospital expense, bed expenses and electricity expenses are absolutely correct. And how we can check whether it is correct or not, I'll show you. And you can see the drivers it is taking only those drivers which is available on our business rules, rest it is not taking. So for now I am removing this, only I am taking whatever it is we have provided there. Okay, refresh and save. Suppose I want it to calculate for the whole year till December. So at that time we have to run the rule for whole the years. So what we will be doing, go back to your rule and here you can see only January is selected. Now we will be selecting the year total. So for that write I descendants of year total So this is the correct way to write the I descendants. Now it is correct, and let's again validate and save this. Click on launch. Successful. Sorry, deploy, then after launch. So the rule is launched with no errors. Okay, now again I want to save it for future reference. Let's try to run this. Now the values should be visible for whole of the year. Refresh and you can see we got the values for our whole year till the December. Okay, so this is quite magical that we are with the help of just one click we are getting the values. We don't have to waste much time on calculations, right? Now the main thing is to check these whether these calculations are correct or not. So one I have already shown you how you can check whether it is correct or not, and that is the hospital bed expenses. For the rest we will be creating a different file. So these are the calculations. Let's create it directly here, calculations, and here we will be create one file with the help name of input. We will be directly input the figures and try to calculate and match it out with this calculation, because we are not doing anything in this sheet. This is automatically we are getting from the application, right? And here we will try to check the differences of both. So it is variance. Now simply I am just taking the column headings, okay? And I'm not taking the figures. I will write the figures manually, just taking the numbers from my data file. This is my data file, and I will write the numbers over here. The number of hours of consultation. These are my figures. Paste. Consultation fee. Then what else we have? Number of doctors. Actually we have several kind of specialists in our hospital. That is why the numbers may be different. But here in this case we are having 20 specialists. So the number of doctors are this. Now next is number of staff. Salary per staff. Then we have cost per bed. Number of patients using bed. Here we have to take number of electricity units. Then rate per unit. Here we will try to calculate things by ourselves. Okay, one more thing. It is taking the current year actual average, so we have to take the same value, right? We can write manually. 11. And the consultation fee is 550. Basically it is taking the average that we have already checked. 550 consultation fee per doctor. Then the number of doctors should be 22. I'm dragging it for the whole. The staff should be this. Then we have salary per staff is 16500. Then cost per bed is 500. It is correct. Then number of patients using beds should be 13. Electricity units, then at last rate per unit. So these are values which our drivers is already having. Now we will calculate things one by one. Okay, so for calculating doctor salary expenses, what is taken over here? Number of hours of consultation multiplied by consultation fee per doctor multiplied by number of doctor. So it should be this multiplied by this multiplied by this 133,100. Okay, again it is taking the some rounding of kind of figures. So that we have to check. Number of hours of consultation 11, 5, 15, 22. 11, 5, 15, 22. Multiplied by 550 multiplied by 22. So this is correct, but what value it is taking? Okay, copy this and paste it and check the difference. So 1109. Basically, why it is showing the difference? Because in the application we have used the trend. Some are current period actual, some are current year actual. That is why the figures are quite different, but not the whole difference. I will do one thing. I will clear all the data from here and will upload it once again. And in the tomorrow session, I will show you this data validation file, because right now we have some other sessions in the same channel. So I'm just ending my stream over here, and you can clearly understand what I want to do. And in the tomorrow session, I will show you the clear picture of this file, the input calculations and the difference of all this. Okay, so for now I hope you can understand, because I have already checked it for one member, that is the hospital bed, and that is absolutely correct. The 6250, the bed expenses, is absolutely correct. We have already checked. And in case you have any doubts in this particular session or the previous session as well, so you can always feel free to write on our BISP Solutions channel or BISP Trainings, and we will try to quickly get back to you. Okay, so for now I'm just closing this. Thank you so much for attending, guys. Bye bye.